Let's keep adding onto the block controls component. There's another component WordPress provides called the block alignment component. This is different from the text alignment. The text alignment will align the text while the block alignment will move the block itself. You can have multiple pieces of content inside a block. The block alignment will move everything to the left, center, or right. It can even allow for columns in your design. To get started, let's open the index file for the recipe block. Destructure the wp.editor and grab the block alignment toolbar component. Next, let's add the attribute. The name will be block alignment with a type of string and default of wide. Unlike text, moving an entire block will require some CSS properties. Luckily, WordPress will generate some classes for you to handle moving the block. You'll see what those look like in just a moment. The wide class is the default class for most blocks. We have the component and we have the attribute ready. Now it's time to add the toolbar to the block. Scroll down to the block controls component. You have the freedom to order your toolbars in any order you like. You can place the block alignment toolbar before or after the text alignment toolbar. I'm going to place it before the text alignment toolbar. Add the component block alignment toolbar. Just like the previous toolbar, we'll need to add the value and onChange attributes. Let me show you how to find the values for these attributes. Go to the Gutenberg repository. Navigate to the Packages/Editors directory. This is where code strictly related to the editor is placed. Inside the Source/Components directory, you will find all the components used within the editor. You'll find the block alignment toolbar component here. There may or may not be a README file. Not everything in Gutenberg is documented. In these cases, you should dig into the index code. There are a couple of things going on here, but the first place you'll want to look into is the function itself. Remember, components are just JavaScript functions even though they're written like HTML. There are some parameters with default values. You can safely ignore those. The ones we're required to set are the value and onChange parameters. Back inside the script, set the value to props.attributes.blockAlignment. The onChange attribute will be set to an arrow function that accepts in the new value. Use the props object and call the setAttributes function. Update the block alignment attribute. We've created the toolbar. The last step to all of this is to apply it to the block. Here's where things change. The block alignment changes the block itself. The block in the editor is more complex than the block that appears on the front end. It's a bit more difficult to apply changes to the block when React controls most of it. In these cases, we'll have to use a special function. Right above the edit function, add the property getEditWrapperProps. This will be set to an arrow function that will accept in the props object. Two things worth noting here. This function will automatically be triggered whenever a change to the block is made. This includes the additional settings and features WordPress adds to your block. It's not just our attributes. The second thing is that the props object is slightly different than before. Previously, you would access your attributes through the props.attributes object. This time, you can directly access the attributes through the props object alone. With that being said, we only need the block alignment attribute. Let's destructure this and grab the block alignment property like so. This function expects us to return any changes to its properties. We can change any of the block properties. It's not just our own. With that being said, we only want to change the alignment. I'm going to create a conditional statement that will check if the block alignment is set to left, right, or full. These are all the alignments available. If the alignment is set to any of these values, then we'll return data-align block alignment. Previously, we would call a function to update an attribute. However, since WordPress controls the block, we can just return what we want to change and WordPress will process everything. You may be wondering how I found this value. I'll show you soon enough, but just keep following along. Now that the attribute is properly updated, we can begin to apply it to the block. The great thing about Gutenberg is that the block will be updated visually automatically. We don't need to make any further changes to the edit function. Scroll down to the save function. In the root div element, add the class name attribute and set it to the following: align props.attributes.block alignment. The class align is provided by the theme we're using. It starts with the phrase align followed by the position of the block. There are 4 possible positions at the moment: wide, left, center, and right. Wide is the default position which will make the block take up the full width of the container. Let's test this out. Save your changes and cd into the blocks directory. Then run the command npm run dev. Go ahead and refresh the page. The block may be broken. Just add it in again if you have to. You should see the block alignment toolbar appear. You should be able to select any of the alignments and see the block move accordingly. Like I said before, the block's position is taken care of by WordPress. All we have to do is notify WordPress of the change. Save your changes and try viewing the post on the front end. The block should appear correctly positioned. If you were to view the element in the developer tools, then you should see the class align applied to the div tag. To the right, the style should appear. As you can see, you don't have to do much to make it appear aligned to the left or right. Feel free to use the Bootstrap CSS for your own themes. Alright, before I finish this lecture, I want to explain how I found out that you had to change the data align property. Go back to the Gutenberg editor. If you were to inspect the recipe block, then you won't see the data align property. You'll have to scroll up quite a bit to find it. As you can see, the data align property appears here and it has the position you selected. To find what values you can change, you can search in one of 2 places. You can search through the JavaScript code itself or look at the elements generated by Gutenberg. Alright, that does it for now. In the next couple of lectures, we'll continue exploring more features of Gutenberg. I'll see you there.